afternoon. Welcome to Nequid Connection. I'm Jen Braun here with professional motocross and quad racer TJ Staver. Welcome, TJ. So how did you start your racing career?
When I was 7, my dad bought me my first dirt bike, and ever since then I just kind of kept riding.
When did you start racing quads? What got you into that?
When I was 13, I started racing quads. I just went to a local fair race, and I didn't really think much of it, but I actually ended up winning. And from then on, I just kind of always wanted to win, and I loved racing ever since.
What was it like when you first started racing with all the pros?
At first, it was really intimidating to be on the line with the guys that I always looked up to, and to see them just in front of me during the race. It just felt all weird at first, but now they're all good friends with me, and it's really fun to be around them.
Who's your biggest competition right now?
Right now, I'd have to say Tyler Hamrick. Me and him, every race are always close to each other.
What class do you race in for quads?
Pro-Am.
Very cool. What kind of bike do you have?
When I first started racing, I had a Suzuki, and for the last 3 years, I rode a Honda, and then just last year, I raced for a pro team for Can-Am.
How did you get on the team? Did they ask you to be on their team, or how do you get on?
One day, I just got an email from a director at Can-Am and asked if I'd come down and do some testing, so I thought I was just going down there to test out their new equipment and stuff, and when I went down there, they actually offered me the ride and everything.
Oh, wow. Do you have sponsors or anything?
Yeah, a lot. Too many to name.
How do you get them?
One way to do it, you can send in resumes to the companies, and they'll accept your sponsorship or decline it, and then they'll give you a percentage of what your sponsorship is. But if you're on a professional team, you use the sponsors that the team has.
Now, do they give you money, or do they give you parts, or?
Sponsors, if you're not on a pro team, the sponsors give you discounts on parts or riding gear, stuff like that. But if you're on a pro team, the pro team actually just pays you to ride for them.
So what's the biggest highlight of your career so far?
In 2012 was my first year racing Pro-Am, and I also won the A-Class National Championship that year.
Oh, wow, that's a big deal. Now, I heard you were in a magazine. Can you tell us about that?
A few times that I've been in a magazine, one was just for a local race. It was a big event that week, and I was just one of the biggest quad riders there, so they put me in their magazine. Another one was ATV Riders. They did a little interview on me when I joined the Can-Am team, so I had a few articles in a magazine about that.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. Do you sign autographs or posters or anything for fans?
Yeah, normally at Nationals during the morning sessions after practice, we have fans come and get autographs. I have our own T-shirts and posters and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. How do you feel for people to have your face on their wall? Because I know I have posters like that on my wall. Is that
when I think about it, it doesn't really feel like that's the case. When I'm around my normal friends back at home, they look at me like a normal person, but when I'm at the track at Nationals, kids just look at me like I'm something really special, and I don't really see what they see, but apparently it's something good to them.
Yeah, that's really cool. So tell us about the T-shirt. Was it your face on a T-shirt, or is your name on a T-shirt?
For the T-shirt, they just put a picture of me riding. And I don't think they do faces or anything like that, but 2012 for National in Michigan, I was actually the sponsored, the main event T-shirt. I was the sponsored rider on it.
Oh, that's so cool. So where'd you ride mostly?
There's a National in Walnut, Illinois. It's called Sunset Ridge, and that's the main track that I ride because it is a national track and it's the closest one to my house.
Okay, that's really cool. So where do you practice? Do you practice in a farm or anything by your house? Or?
I have my own track at my house, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. Do you practice your dirt bike and things like that there too?
Yeah, when quad riders race dirt bikes, they call it cross training. It's just something different, a different feel for you, so you get used to every situation that you could have on the track.
Now, is there a difference between motocross and supercross?
Supercross is all in like indoors. It's in stadiums and stuff like that, and motocross is just outdoors.
Now, do you race both of those, or
Yeah.
which one do you like better?
Supercross is more like technical. The jumps are a lot different compared to outdoor motocross, but motocross is a lot like it's faster and it's a lot nicer than supercross, I think. So I like motocross the best.
Now, like, I know, like, it's a really dangerous sport. Like, I know one time I was supposed to go to my friend's motocross, and I ended up not going, but someone, like, died on the track that day. Have you ever been there where someone died on the track?
A few years ago, one of my good friends actually, he crashed really bad, and he got up and was perfectly fine. He ended up dying a few days later from internal bleeding. He had no idea that happened.
Oh, wow. How does it, like, affect you when you're racing?
It's weird at first, like, to know that there was someone there racing with you before, and like the next week he's not. It's a weird feeling, but it's also it kind of brings a lot of the guys closer together because we'll hold special events like in memory for that person. So
Now, do you work on your own bike or your quad, or do you have people work on it for you?
when I first started, it was just me and my dad, but since I've been joining pro teams and stuff, we have our own mechanics and stuff like that.
Is there, I know sometimes there's like certain rules, like you can only bring like one like mechanic with you to a race. Do they do that with your sport, or?
For our sport, you can bring a mechanic up to like the starting gate with you. You can have as many mechanics as you want in the pit, but when you come up to the starting gate and then they go to the pit area for the race, like you can only have one.
Okay. So like what's like the scariest like crash you've been in?
There was one crash in, I think it was 2010, where I ended up breaking my wrist really bad, and the clutch handle on a dirt bike actually ended up going through my arm.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Now, when you're racing, do people like jump over you sometimes or anything like that?
It happens a lot. I've had kids jump over me, and I've actually ended up like landing on people before too.
Oh my gosh, it's so scary. Is it scarier like when you're jumping over someone or someone on top of you?
If it's like you knew that you were gonna jump over them, like you knew that you're just gonna do that, like it's not scary. But if you weren't expecting the rider in front of you to not jump a jump and you jump it, it is a scary feeling.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, who are like your like main like idols or anything that you look up to for racing?
Chad Wienen is probably my main guy because he lives just 5 minutes up the road from where I do. So he's always been around me, and I've always like looked up to him, and he's kind of the reason I got into racing. His story like started off like the same as mine too.
Oh wow. Now, are any of your races or anything like broadcasted on any television stations or anything?
Recently, like they haven't, but just this year and last year they started posting them on MAF TV.
Okay, that's really cool. What is like your favorite brand to race?
Bike-wise?
Yeah, or quad, whichever, both.
Probably Honda. Honda's always been really good for me.
Now, do you like change out motors and stuff to like different brands to change it up or anything, or?
We have done that before. We put a Honda motor in a Can-Am chassis, and whenever you do that with the four-wheeler or dirt bike, you call it a hybrid.
Okay. How like do you get paid for racing, or how do you get paid for winning races or anything? How does that work?
There's always like if you win, there's always money to win. But for the pro team and for Can-Am last year, I was actually paid to go to the race and be on the team and everything. And if I got the positions that they wanted in the race, then they'd pay me like extra.
Oh, well, that's really cool. Now, do you like end up spending it on your stuff, or do you like get to keep the money and spend it on whatever you want?
The Can-Am team ended about 6 months into the season. So after that, I kind of put a lot of the money that they paid me into my own stuff to finish out the season.
Now, since you race for Can-Am, do you like also work for them?
No, not really.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for coming. And for Nico Connection, I'm Jen Braun. Have a good day.